Happy Friday, TGIF, whatever that means. I wanted to just come on here and say thank you to those of you who have donated money and supported me along this dental crisis. Honestly, if it wasn't for those of you who've reached out and donated money, I wouldn't be able to go to my appointment on Monday. So I have a 2:30 appointment on Monday, and I will be getting the rest of my back tooth completely finished up. Where the filling is, it has to still be kind of ground down a little because it's catching on food, and food is getting lodged in between. So I'm looking forward to getting that part done, and then from that point on, that's phase 2, and then there's total 6 phases of what they want to do in my mouth. I may be seeking other dental advice and consulting with other dentists. I was referred to a couple people. They reached out to me, and ironically, there are some places that have free dental. So if that's an option and it's not going to take too long to get in, whoo, by the grace, things always work out in the end. But of course, the most important thing is not to be putting more metal in my mouth, because that has caused a whole bunch of health issues over the course of my life. That, mercury and heavy metal toxicity in the body causes a whole lot of autoimmune diseases, and most people aren't even aware of the impact. And most of it starts in our mouths. I believe I was reading about how the incidence of women with breast cancer was ironically connected to, I think, root canals. Like, if you start doing your research. So if you've had any type of dental care and then you have autoimmune issues, you might want to go looking into and going down the rabbit hole just for your own sake. Don't take my word for it. Do your own research and reach out and speak with other people, advocates, or others that have been through what you're going through. Because the majority of the time, they're not connecting the dental to a lot of the health ailments and medical conditions that are on the rise. Cancers. Come on. A lot of this is being connected. Heart disease. It's not just the food, but it is connected because food goes right in our mouth too. I mean, there are a whole lot of moving parts involved in all of this. And this is your health, and your health is where, your wealth is where your health, there's a bug on my forehead. Your wealth is in your health, right? Beyond that, I'm extremely tired. I've been really trying to do a lot of things. I've been trying to catch up on a lot of things that I've needed to do. But also I need to take rest because I'm dealing with some serious eye twitching. It initially started when I lost the filling out of that tooth. When the hole started, I've got sensation and inflammation all on this side. It's tender. I'm grinding a whole lot more on this side, and it is popping even on the left side. It's a radiating sensation. When I was explaining to the doctor the other day, she was trying to really become clear to understand what I was feeling. I said, it's really hard to explain. It's like I can feel the inflammation. My face feels much puffier than anybody can look at me and say, well, you don't look puffy, you don't look inflamed, you don't look like you're, dealing with anything. But again, you can never judge someone else based on your visual, your perception, because that's also a projection and a comparison upon how we feel. That's the majority of the time we're looking at other people, we're comparing ourselves. Even when we admire or we dislike, that's a comparison. So going back to my mouth though, this sensation that I'm feeling is really hard to describe. It's like, it's not painful, but I can feel the nerve is really attuned. It's very heightened, and it's not numb, but it's like a numb sort of weird sensation. And I said, it's interesting that the doctor that I saw at the ER, he proceeded to say that the sensation was probably coming from my cervical spine, And then, like I said, I explained about how when you put a bite in and you take the x-rays, you see compression versus decompression. When you create that space and the proper alignment of the teeth, it reduces the pressure on the discs and the nerves in the cervical spine. So all of that, and I mentioned my eye twitching. Now, the doctor said eye twitching can be the result of tired eyes, which is the equivalent of Charlie horses we get in our legs. It's like your eye's version of a Charlie horse is the eye twitching. Well, this eye started twitching when this started happening. And then today I'm noticing I'm twitching more on this side than I am on this side. And then just a little while ago it switched, and now I'm twitching again on the left side. So just strange things I'm noticing and becoming more attuned to, and just really paying attention in my body. I truly recommend that if your body is talking to you, screaming at you, whether it's pain or otherwise, listen to it. And I am taking magnesium and the potassium and all of that. I get plenty of that. Believe it or not, I take minerals in the morning, in the evening, during the day. And one thing that really dropped in this morning that I was really sitting with this morning with my chronic pain and body sensations. And I challenge anybody out there that deals with pain to really sit with that pain and really tune into it and confront it, because our bodies are always talking to us. And when we're feeling pain, it's the equivalent, in my opinion, because of what I sat with this morning that really came up. It's your body screaming at you saying, hey, at what point is it going to take for you to really listen and hear me? Because you can listen, but you don't necessarily hear. People say they listen all the time, but they're not necessarily hearing what you say. But that's the same thing with the body. We can say, I'm in pain. But how often do we confront and sit with it to figure out, what is this trying to tell me? Because intuitively, you have all the answers inside of you. Nobody can give you the answers. I go to doctors, you go to doctors. For what? For somebody who doesn't live with the body 24/7, doesn't have any history of connection with it. They only have the information they've gleaned through trainings and teachings. So they haven't integrated other than what they see as general cases. You have to know your own body. And that has been my journey the entire time I've been on this earth, is really honing in and feeling it and really getting to know my own personal body, my physical body, my emotional body, and my spiritual body. And they are all one body. It's just we're not as attuned to them across the board. So my body's screaming at me. I'm sitting there listening to this and going, wow, at what point did I stop feeling my body? And I'm somebody who's always trying to listen and tune in and feel. But at what point did I numb myself from really, really feeling? Is what I sat with and going, wow, am I the only one who notices these things on this deep level, that really my body is in pain? It's trying to say, hey, there's a reason we're in pain. And when you turn around and you really sit with us, you're going to find it's going to go away. But what we resist is what persists. So the more you ignore, the more and the stronger it becomes. The deeper the pain, the more you try to numb it, the more painful it appears. Because it's the push-pull. You're pushing it away, you're suppressing it, you're ignoring it, and it's screaming even harder, even louder, even more deeply. The thing is the issues that we have in our mind, they really do reside within our bodies, because our bodies listen the most to what goes on up in here. So if you have negative self-talk, you have constant worry, fears, stories continually going through your head, it manifests in the physical body. And that's why I'm sharing this journey with everyone, because I want others to be inspired enough to listen within and recognize, what is it that I myself am going through, that it's right there telling me, but I'm not listening, or I'm not feeling it. We have 5 senses for a reason, people. The 5 senses are meant to really tune us in to who we are and what we're meant to be. We're not the stories in our head, but the stories are what create all these other issues, because our issues lie in our tissues. And if we are feeling discomfort, it's because we're out of alignment, because we're not tuned into those senses. We're not seeing it, we're not hearing it, we're not smelling it, we're not touching it or feeling it. And we're definitely not tasting it. Because isn't that the irony? The underlying cause of addiction is constantly looking for stimulation of the senses. So we reach out for something external because we've numbed our own senses, and we're constantly looking for something to give us sensation and feeling in one of those 5 ways. We're extrasensory humans, but we've turned the switch off because of traumas and stories we've created in our mind. Yes, maybe we've experienced them, but how much longer are we going to hold on to them to the point where we're completely numb and we're just walking robots, just going through the motions, habitual and routine? And then we're in these states of discomfort and agonizing pain and dis-ease. Whatever it is that you're struggling with, it's just a matter of going within and asking and confronting whatever it is. And I'm sitting here doing the work, and I'm doing it. Do I have all the answers in this moment? Of course not. But it's my journey that I'm delving into. And I'm hoping that this inspires someone else to go, wow, maybe there's something to this. Maybe I should look at what's coming up for me. Because that's the beauty of being able to share in social media, is what I might be going through might spark something, some wisdom, some insight for someone out there who also is suffering. So that if I'm able to make a change in the dental medical field, especially for the veterans out there, just imagine one person can make a difference. And that's why I'm asking for help, and that's why I am grateful for those of you who are helping, who are showing up and supporting me by sharing this video, sharing my fundraiser, inviting friends. Every little bit counts. You know, if you got a couple dollars to spare, it will help. And I am grateful for whatever you send me. Blessings and love, and any words of encouragement and support. I know everything's going to work out. Like I said, I have to trust. I can't keep sticking to the fear monger of my mind. I mean, because I do. I go in those little... It catches me. It's clever. What if? What if? What if? You shoulda, you coulda. The shame and the blame dialogue is basically all that is. And we do it the worst to ourselves. And all that does is create, again, the physical manifestation of the discomfort that we're creating in the head. The physical wouldn't exist without all the thoughts and all the beliefs and all the stories we tell ourselves. So I didn't even know what I was going to share with you other than what I'm experiencing right now. I'm having trouble sleeping at night. My neck is really tweaking, and it's rainy right now too on top of everything, so I feel even more achy and even more exhausted and tired. I'm going to get up tomorrow very early because I have a lot of things I want to get done. I want to get to the market. For those of you, if you're ever looking to save some money on groceries, go to your local farmer's market. Buy local, buy from farmers, cut the middleman out. Yes, there are great places you can buy, produce at a lower rate, but when you go straight to the markets, you're also getting straight to the source as much as possible. And there's some beautiful people out there, and you can always make friends, and, they never know. They work deals with you too. There's a whole barter system. And I can tell you what, if you're growing your own food, you're doing something right. And that in itself is not only sustainable, but it saves you. And there's a beautiful exchange that occurs, because then it's your energy and your cultivating of love that brings you from farm to table, your own table. And so any of you out there, again, who can spare some money, can share this video, can share my fundraiser, invite friends. I, again, say thank you. I thank you who have donated money to me, especially Monday, 2:30, I have my dental appointment to finish up just this one section. I'm looking forward to it, and I'll be happy when this piece is taken care of, because the food just keeps getting caught in there. But I am experiencing tenderness and sensitivity in my teeth more so than I was before this all started. And like I expressed, the dentist said that when one area is exposed and vulnerable to bacteria, it almost like opens up the rest of the mouth for that. And it just kind of makes me think in terms of, people who have ever had a cancer and they open your body up. I remember my grandmother when she had cancer and they opened her up and she had tumors. First time they opened her up, she had a tumor the size of a grapefruit. And my grandmother was a nurse, and she did not believe in chemotherapy because she knew it was poison. So she told them she wasn't going to do chemo. And this was in 1991. And that was tough to witness, my grandmother, because I was very close to her. But what I had learned even back then was that once you open up and expose this dis-ease, this cancer, whatever it is, the bacteria, they flourish, they bloom. It's almost like you just exposed it to an environment. It's like, oh, they go crazy. But I really believe we do have the power to heal ourselves. And we never know what someone else is going through internally, and what the stories and what the traumas and all the fears and the self-talk is. So the cheapest thing out there is kindness for one another. And the first place you need to be most kind and compassionate is with yourself. And that's what I'm trying to do every day right now. I'm just really trying to hone in on my own personal compassion, because I am the hardest on myself, even if people around me don't know it. I mean, I can walk a good walk and look like everything's perfect. But the reality is I suffer inside too. And that's one of the other benefits of what transpired the other day, is that I received a phone call today, and I do have a mental health appointment to support me in some of the things that I really need to have a professional and have a support group. I have a beautiful community here, but again, it's not weakness to ask for help. And there's nothing wrong with admitting that there are things that bother you in your mind. And meditation might not be the only thing you need, or yoga or exercise or food. You may need more, but you have to know, and you have to be willing to try other options and other avenues, because healing is your personal gift to yourself and those you love, to your family, your ancestors, backwards and forwards. And if you don't do it for you, nobody else will. I like to think of it from the perspective that what I do for me heals the ancestors, my previous ancestors, that were unable to do it for themselves. And that I like to think that they're shining down going, oh, thank you. I wanted to do that. Because I believe that each generation has the opportunity to improve upon the last and make it better for the future. And if you're willing to do the hard work, and it isn't easy, they're all airy-fairy spiritual beings out there walking around, not on the earth. Oh, believe me, I'm extremely grounded in the earth, and I'm extremely, and acutely aware of responsibility in the human world. But I also have a trust and a knowing, because I've seen miracles happen in my life, and beautiful people like all of you who have come and shown up. And I know I've done the same for others. I believe in paying it forward because I know it always comes back even more. So thank you again. If you have any offers of support, if you can share, invite, whatever it is you can do. A few dollars is you know, if I got $1 from each of you, we wouldn't even be here today on this video. I'd be okay. So now how can I move forward and pay it forward would be my next question. And I'm already on top of that, by the way. I'm excited because tomorrow I'll get to dive a little deeper into some things that are coming in store in the future. So again, sweet dreams. I love you. Thank you, thank you, thank you. From the bottom of my heart to yours. Good night and bless your hearts.